All right, our next section, we're going to be talking about measurement and using precise measurement to measure segments and angles. So as we start looking at segments, we're going to be using a ruler to do that. And with angles, we're going to be using a protractor. When we start talking about angles, we can review three different classifications of angles. First of all, we have a right angle, which is an angle that measures 90 degrees. And in our textbook, you will see this little red square in the corner if it is a 90-degree angle. If that is not placed on your angle, you may not assume that it is 90 degrees. If you have an angle that is less than 90 degrees, we call that an acute angle. And if you have an angle that measures more than 90 degrees, that is an obtuse angle. Now these three angles that we're going to look at here, we're all going to be measuring angles using a protractor, which we're going to be doing in class tomorrow. But just wanted to review those three terms with us. What we're also going to be looking at doing tomorrow is working with measuring segments, and to do that we're going to be using a ruler. Now we're going to be measuring in inches. We're going to also be measuring in we're going to be also measuring in centimeters, or you can also say millimeters or meters if you'd like. And people are really good with meters. Centimeters they seem to struggle with. Anything that's not at 1 inch or 1.5 inches. Whenever it's in between there, that's when we're not quite sure what to do. What you just need to realize here is that a ruler is broken up into a bunch of evenly spaced little lines going from 0 to 1. And because each of these is so evenly spaced, it's a fraction. Okay, that's what fractions are. It's part of a whole. So here we got from 0 to 1 inch. Now if I count how many little tick marks that I have here, I see that I have 8 of them. That means that we are dividing this 1 inch up into 8 equal parts. So from here to here is 1/8, here to here is 1/8, and so on as I keep going with this. So as we kind of break this down, if I start with 1 inch, if I take half of that, that's where our 1/2 of an inch comes in. Now if I take half of that, that gives me 1/4. And if I go half of 1/4, now that gives me 1/8. Now think of this, each little segment there is 1/8. Well, 1/8 plus 1/8 is 2/8, which is 1/4. 2/8 plus 1/8 is 3/8, which cannot be simplified. 3/8 plus 1/8 is 4/8, which is simplified to 1/2. 4/8 plus 1/8 is 5/8. 5/8 plus 1/8 is 6/8, which is then simplified to 3/4. Where am I at? 6/8 plus 1/8 is 7/8. And then if I were to add on one more eighth, I would get 8/8, which gives us 1. Some rulers are broken down ones even further. They're going down to 16ths. Sometimes they're even broken up into 30-seconds. Just depends on how precise your ruler actually is. So everything's based off of really that 1/8 of an inch. If I was to take these two images that I have here and I wanted to measure them in inches, let's say I want to measure the wingspan of this butterfly, and I start at 0. I can see then going from 2. Now this ruler here, I've got 1/2 is in the middle, here's 1/4. Each of these medium length here, that's 1/8, and this actually goes down to 16ths. So I'm going to grab a pen here. This right here is 1/8, and this is 2/8. So here I have 2 and 2/8, which is equivalent to 2 and 1/4, and I want to make sure that I put my inches with that. If I wanted to go ahead and measure the fence, okay, let's go from end to end. Here I'm measuring, and I want to go to this mark right here. Each of those is 1/8, so I have 2 and 1/8, 2/8, and 3/8. So there's my 3/8 mark. So here I have 2 and 3/8 of an inch. Now, centimeters is a lot easier to work with, and I really wish we measured more things in the metric unit, but because we live here in the United States, we don't always do that. But centimeters is, what you're doing here is 1 centimeter is broken up into 10 equal parts. And so here you've got 1/10, and then 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, which is 1/2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, the nice thing about this is, if you think about this, 1/10, that's the same thing as 0.1. 1 divided by 10 is 0.1. If I was to take, since 1/2 is the same thing as 5/10, that is equal to 0.5. That's the nice thing about working with centimeters, is that each one right here is of a tenth, which ends up just being the decimal. And so now here, if I want to measure my butterfly using centimeters, here I've got from end to end. My end for this butterfly is going to be right here, which is at 1, 2, 3, the 4th mark. That's giving me 4/10, which is equivalent to 2/5. And so here I have 2 and 2/5 centimeters, which can also, because this is 4/10, is 2.4 centimeters. If I look at, oops, I kind of, sorry, my ruler kind of broke apart here. If I look at the next one here and I go to its end point, we are going to, if I look at the 2 centimeters, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to the 6, which is 6/10, which can be simplified to 3/5. And so here I have 2 and 3/5 centimeters, or we can do this as 2.6 centimeters. So that's just reviewing how to work with precision, how to work with a ruler again. And the last thing that I want to review is just what area and perimeter are, so that we can work on a few of these problems tomorrow. First of all, area, just a reminder that it's the number of square units that it takes to cover a surface. So we're talking about the inside shaded area, and it's units squared. So if it's measured in centimeters, it's centimeters squared. Perimeter is the distance around something, which is measured in units. We are going to take the next couple of days, or tomorrow, we're going to start looking at the perimeter and area of triangles, rectangles, and circles. So here I have the formulas for these, and we'll talk about these in class. But go ahead and pause this video if you need to, so that you can jot these down. And here are the formulas that are working with the area. What we'll be doing is we'll be coming in class tomorrow. We'll be working with using our protractors to measure some angles, and along with the rulers. And then we're going to be spending some time just working with different shapes and trying to find the areas and perimeters of those. If you have any questions, make sure that you jot them down and let me know what they are. Otherwise, I'll see you in class.